Holding virtual talks with Donald Trump later this evening ahead of the US president's meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin. The leaders are trying to drive home the perils of selling out Kyiv's interests in pursuit of a ceasefire with Russia. Deutsche Welle correspondent Thomas Sparrow joins us now from Berlin. Thomas, what does German Chancellor Merz want to achieve with this meeting?
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who is holding this meeting, who is hosting this virtual meeting, essentially wants to make sure that not only Ukraine's interests are respected and considered during the upcoming meeting in Alaska between US President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, but also Europe's security interests, because this is seen as also something that is particularly important. And it's not only Friedrich Merz, by the way, the German Chancellor, it's also other European leaders that are very much interested in having an agreement, in having a peace discussion that involves Ukraine, that involves Europe, as well as obviously the United States and Russia. That is the key element when it comes to the meeting that is being held virtually. It's also about making sure that some of the key principles are guaranteed when it comes to international law. For example, that borders cannot be shifted by force. And this is also particularly relevant at a time when there's discussion in European capitals, but also elsewhere, about possible exchange of territories when it comes to an agreement between Russia and Ukraine.
How do European leaders view the planned Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska?
European leaders think it's obviously a positive step that US President Trump is trying to find ways of ending the war in Ukraine. That is something that they have applauded publicly. That is something that they have supported publicly as well. But the content is not necessarily something that they agree with. And the way this meeting is happening, they would certainly prefer a meeting that also includes Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. They would also prefer a meeting which includes European politicians and that includes also European interests at the table. And again, some of the key elements there include territorial integrity. They would like Ukraine's territorial integrity to be respected because they believe that that is an absolutely essential element. Borders should not be changed by force. That's something that European leaders time and time again stressed. And at the same time, that an agreement can be discussed that involves all different players that have an interest in the future of Ukraine as well. So they see it as an important step, but a step that definitely needs more players at the table.
What are European leaders proposing as ways forward to end the war in Ukraine?
Well, definitely that this is the first out of many steps in the process of finding an agreement to end the war in Ukraine. It's, by the way, a war that has been going on now for over 3 years. And they also specifically want to have more pressure on Russia, whether it is economic pressure on sanctions, but also military pressure as well. They would like that to be a part of the process as well. It is an unlikely part of the process because it is not something that they expect Donald Trump to be interested in at least carrying out at this stage, although he has stressed that that could be also on the table as well. So pressure on Russia, definitely one element. Second element, having Ukraine at the table. Third element, clearly discussing all the specific terms when it comes to possible exchange of territories that would be beneficial not only to Russia, but also beneficial to Ukraine as well.
OK, Deutsche Welle correspondent Thomas Sparrow reporting there from Berlin. Southern Europe is experiencing extreme